next up, let's keep it moving. We have David Nikzad, founder and CEO of EI Ventures. Joining him on stage is Mike Corselli, an advisor to EI Ventures and Silly. Give it up for the Silly team.
Man, it sounds like we got to like pick up the pace here.
No, you're good.
Somebody forgot their phone.
Here, where? Sounds like we got to get some energy in this room.
Who's tired?
It's 3:40.
Anyone on psychedelics today? All right, there we go. Some people need some.
Yeah.
I think you need some psychedelics to get into the mood here. My name's Mike Corselli. I'm the founder and chairman of FLYA. It's a 501c6 nonprofit started in 2007 to democratize alternative investment education. This is definitely something I would classify as an alternative investment. I'm here with a pioneer, somebody who believes in plant-based medicine, somebody who believes in the metaverse, and really building a special community to make the world a better place. So with that, I want to give my brother here, David, a hug. You guys are lucky to hear him today.
Thank you, Michael. My name is David Nixad, founder of Emotional Intelligence Ventures. You know, I don't know what got me here. I don't know why I got into this space. It was definitely not about the money, probably the worst investment I ever made, but promised to build this into a $10 billion company, as we used to say at Y Combinator. We fucking crush it no matter what happens. And, you know, there's no pump and dump here. We've invested, we've broadcasted, we brought the frequency, and we're going to crush it. I mean, that's it.
So,
and I didn't sell any stock this morning.
Tell us why you started EI Ventures and Silly.
I mean, I came on this journey because I really wanted to work on myself. I moved to Maui about 16 years ago, and during that whole journey, I hate using the word journey and paradigm shift and all this other vocabulary, but I went with a partner of mine that I've been doing business with for 25 years, Jason Hobson. We actually have been investors in the technology space for about 20 plus years. We went and we built a health and retreat center called Lumeria on the island of Maui, and I was in the phase where I was getting married and having kids, and I was like, if I'm gonna like do that whole thing, I'm going to really work on myself. Because at the end of the day, I mean, I grew up really privileged. I had like everything imaginable and I wasn't happy. I actually got diagnosed with Asperger's at a really early age. And yeah, you know, at the end of the day, money doesn't buy happiness. It sure makes a lot of things easier, but it's really kind of comical because the psychedelic space for me has been kind of a thing where I've met like walking contradictions like I did in high school. I've been threatened by founders. I've been threatened to be sued. I've heard that people have all the patents on psychedelics. I've had bankers laugh at me. You know, that's been my truth at the whole thing.
So why treat people with psychedelics? What's the reason behind it?
I mean, if you want to get really serious, I have like 31 cousins that are doctors. I come from a Persian Jewish background. My mom is a doctor, my brother is a doctor, so is my sister. And at the end of the day, by the time I was 19 years old, I was on 100 milligrams of Adderall at a time. So you're talking to somebody that never goes to the doctor. I would never listen to anybody that's compensated by money. And at the end of the day, for me, it's all about integrity and making sure that if I'm going to sell this to other people, they're going to be okay and they're going to be safe. You know, I think we all come into this trying to have the right intentions and be good people. But sometimes it's like, as I explained to my kids, if you find a $100 bill on the side of the road, make sure you report it to the lost and found because that person that lost it might really need it. So It's about right and wrong. And I think at the end of the day, why I got into psychedelics is about empathy. And I think that the space needs a leader. Some people called me and said, Kevin O'Leary said that Compass and MindMed and I think Atai are gonna join forces. Listen, J.R. Ron lives in my building. He doesn't give a fuck about MindMed no more. He's already moved on to his next company. I mean, Christian Angermeyer talks about Bitcoin mining. It's not about psychedelics anymore and helping people. We're here to actually give people access and like have a company like Patagonia that has integrity. We call it in Hawaiian pono. It means righteousness. And it has nothing to do about shorting stocks or pump and dumps.
So why do you feel like you're the chosen person to make this happen?
Not chosen at all. I mean, all I can tell you is anything that has to do with EI Ventures, I have no intention in selling any stock in EI Ventures. I've already done well in my life. I mean, I've been investing for probably 27 years. I come from a well-to-do family. You know, for me, my dedication is to make sure that my shareholders, they do well. And we do well as a community. That's why, you know, I've been involved with Y Combinator all the way back to 2007. I was in the class that Coinbase was in. I've probably invested in over 100 Y Combinator companies. It's about community. Nobody got into Y Combinator because it was like some elite San Francisco crowd. It was about community and getting together. So, you know, we have 11,000 investors. I've probably talked to a couple thousand of them. And my commitment is to build a company with like real frequency.
It's about community. That's what it sounds like.
Always.
So with regards to community, how, from the business side of it, do you monetize that? What's the strategy?
I mean, EI Ventures and myself already have 1,000 acres in the sandbox. We own the centerpiece. We're going to build something very robust. I call it com.com 11.11. Obviously, com.com is a multi-billion-dollar company. I know some of the investors in that. We're going to build something that's out of this world where a community of 1 billion people can come in. I don't know how it's going to work out for the black market and the legal market. Listen, I was an investor 20 years ago in cannabis. My co-founder of 25 years, he's one of the leading cannabis lawyers. I'm still heavily invested in the California cannabis space. Psychedelics, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean, for me, ketamine isn't a psychedelic, it's a dissociative. So will one day we will buy some mushrooms or something at a dispensary? Definitely, that's gonna happen. So all I can tell you is when you buy that and it says Silly, P-S-L-Y or P-S-I-L-L-Y, it's gonna be the cleanest thing you buy. When you chromographically test it, it's gonna be the real deal. It's not gonna be something that's sprayed with whatever else that goes on in the world these days.
So I see some smirks out in the crowd here. I imagine that some people don't believe that psilocybin is a good medicine to treat anxiety and depression.
I mean, the way I identify it, and for each their own, obviously these are, you know, Schedule I substances. I prefer to drink cold pressed orange juice versus something that comes out of a can. For each their own. My co-founder and I were involved with getting Monsanto off of Maui and Kauai. I can tell you GMOs have never done anything for anybody. We're still starting to learn what those products do to us, like sugar and other things. And I can tell you that I'm gonna take cold pressed orange juice any day. So these people can sell you fake meat and synthetic shrimp and everything else. I still eat a Maui burger. I still eat, you know, macadamia and Maui nuts. I want the real thing. I don't want anything fake.
So, like, with the FDA and all this stuff, and like, what are your feelings on that, and how, you know, this plant-based medicine fits into the big pharma agenda?
Well, I think the FDA has a handful. I mean, I've been in the cannabis space. I've been in the CBD space. I mean, I'm one of the only companies that has a real DEA license in the CBD space through Randy's Remedy. We use a DEA psilocybin license to work on our transdermal. At the end of the day, I mean, listen, I've gotten a ton of texts today. I think, unfortunately, 300 companies went public because a bunch of bankers wanted to buy some house in Whistler. And, you know, that's not the reality for me. I got a lot of my own money into this. And, you know, you may be thinking that this guy's crazy or full of shit, but at the end of the day, it's my money. And while you short the stock and you destroy companies and people, I'm all in. I'm not selling till my shareholders make a lot of money.
You know, that's an interesting angle. I don't hear usually in this space.
That's my truth.
So those of you that don't know David, you should get to know him. He's a great guy. He's authentic. He's somebody that you want to be around because he allows you to be yourself. And at the end of the day, that's what healing's all about. So I encourage you to get to know him, get to know the Silly team. And I want to transition this conversation into the metaverse and how the metaverse is, you know, is kind of intersecting with psilocybin. Like what's the deal with the metaverse and Sandbox and Axie Infinity and Pluto 1111 and where are we going with all of this?
I mean, it's you know, that's a lot to wrap around my mind, but I can tell you through this journey and through the journey I was in, like even through elementary school and high school, you know, even recently, my cousin and I lost a friend of mine to a fentanyl overdose. You know, somebody picked up a bag of cocaine, took, you know, one line and actually died. And at the end of the day, I've lost a lot of people through suicide and drug overdoses. And I think at the end of the day, we all come from this place where, you know, we're depending on other people and we might be self-conscious of who we are. And in the metaverse, I hang out with a lot of people with pseudonyms and other things. And I think at the end of the day, it's like a safe place. And I know that a lot of people say it's all about the hype, but you know what? My kids have been playing in the metaverse for the last like 4 or 5 years, and it's a safe place for them. And I don't talk about this often, but both of my kids have been diagnosed with Asperger's also. And I think like what happens to people is they can't be like authentic with themselves, and the metaverse allows them to be who they are. And at the end of the day, we get older and, you know, listen, I've gained 35 pounds coming to Miami and, you know, we're self-conscious. We're not always okay with who we are. And, you know, it's about awareness and empathy and being yourself. And I think the metaverse and the idea of like building a community, it's a very big idea. I mean, at this point, I've deployed a lot of emotional intelligence ventures down that road.
So the anxiety market is supposedly 40% of Americans suffer from anxiety. And, you know, anxiety and depression is a $17 billion a year industry. You know, one of the things that I've heard you say in passing is you want to get it down to $1 a dose.
I'm committed to that.
So how is that going to be profitable?
You know, how is a dime bag profitable when we used to go pick that up in DC? I mean, it's at the end of the day, we all are looking for some type of access. And, you know, the United States of America has printed $13 trillion. I'm not a person that gets into politics one side or another, but as people are homeless, committing suicide, dealing with depression, I get the same LinkedIn message almost every day. My child has gotten into hard drugs. Where can I find somewhere to take them on a clinical trial? I'm scared that they're going to kill themselves. Or the other message is, my child has killed themselves through a drug overdose or something. So at the end of the day, I don't even think it has anything to do with $1 a dose. It's about people being empathetic about each other. At the end of the day, you know, we are in the greatest country in the world, the United States of America, And if we want to really treat mental illness, it doesn't even have anything to do with $1 a dose. It's about helping everybody because we're all dealing with something.
That's incredible. So if you solve the problem, you'll figure out the economics.
You know, the funny part about it is in Y Combinator, it was always the freemium model. It was free till you made money. And I understand we're on this whole crypto train. I've been in crypto for a long time, but the reality of it is to build a real company, it takes a lot of time. And I know there's a lot of people here that, you know, have gone down this road where they think like, take a company public quickly, let's raise a lot of money. You know, at the end of the day, a wise person that I'm looking at right now said to me this morning, they go, the people that get hurt are the retail investors. The people that get hurt are the people that get duped by the fugazi of like selling people on something that's not true. And I would never do that. That's not right. That's picking up the $100 bill and putting it in your own pocket.
Well, it's great that you don't need to do that, all right?
I don't think anybody does.
So some people can't help themselves, so, and that's the interesting part with you. I believe that you are going to do the right thing, and I believe that the team that you have is a great team, and no one has that intent, which separates you from others.
Listen, I think everybody are good people. I hung out with a lot of these psychedelic companies during microdose. At the end of the day, I've always said you need wisdom before power. And, you know, I may have came in here and I'm, you know, all my friends are like, just tell them how it is because they shit it all over you while you were on this mission to like do something good for the world. But at the end of the day, like I met Paul from Cybin. I met the Midison guys, you know, my partner then, Benny Kaplan. I met a lot of people. They're good people. I just think that like sometimes money gets the best of us. And listen, it's happened to me too. I'm almost 46 years old right now. So I've learned my lessons when it comes to money. But at the end of the day, it's like there's no free rides. When you're duping somebody else, you're duping yourself. And at the end of the day, you know, the bankers here are probably saying, this motherfucker. Listen, at the end of the day, money is a frequency, and you're either going to do good or bad by it. And I can tell you the people that are going to support our Go Public, they're good people that I've hung out with, and like I know they're Pono, they're righteous.
So we have 2 minutes and 55 seconds left.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how you invest in Silly, how you invest in EI Ventures. I know that you're not raising money right now, but how can they get involved if they wanted to really get involved and they felt compelled to do so?
I mean, listen, this is what I'm going to say because I'm seeing it. A lot of people are reaching out to me. I know that the psychedelic space is really, really bloody right now. And we've raised almost $30 million, not including the liquidity in our holding company, which we've never sold anything. So at the end of the day, we want to partner. We want to buy assets. There's no ego here. I'm here to help you. And I've been painted out to be a monster, and I'm not. I'm actually a really good guy with a lot of empathy. And if you're a company that wants to succeed, I spent almost 20 years of my life and almost 10 years of my life at Y Combinator helping big companies succeed. And you know, today we made a $1.111 million investment into Unstoppable Domains. And you guys can figure that out. But we are here to empower companies that want to, you know, help others and be empathetic. And just reach out to me. I'm here to help you. I can handle your bankers. I can handle those people that think they know better.
So who would ever ask an Italian mafioso to interview them
I
at
would.
a psychedelic conference? Like, this guy's got to have his head checked. He's a sick fuck.
Did you tell people you're the mayor of Brickell?
Does anybody have any questions? Anybody have anything that they want to ask? You know, I see a lot of blank faces.
I think it's just the end of the day.
It's the end of the day. You're all tired. We need to put some psychedelics in your water, microdose you all. Actually, that was at lunch.
Gentlemen, that was an excellent back and forth.
What happened to the video?
Yeah. So that's why I wanted to end on. So one thing is, talk about the NFT that you just purchased, and we'll have the AV end on a note. So just tell them what we all are.
Yeah.
when
So
it comes down to it.
I had a weekend where, for myself, I took a little bit of magic mushrooms, and I love to invest in NFTs. I think I have like 2,000 of them right now. And I bought this NFT called We Are All Fungus. And I can tell you, as we develop our 1,000 acres on the Metaverse, we're going to build you a really good experience, something I'd take myself because I'm a pretty discerning person. So.
Fantastic. Let's give him a round of applause.